What's going on, everybody? Doug here, one of the hosts, producers, and creators of the Genre of Your Life podcast, here with a, dare I say, end of summer movie season review roundup episode for you all this week. Yeah, guys, we are coming to the very, sadly, end of the summer movie season. It's been a great run, I feel like, this summer. You know, the summer reminded me a lot of movies, like summers I kind of grew up on, with like the mix of like adventure and action and comedy and IP and franchise, and just to see like how amazing and original films, first and foremost. Like, you know, I feel like this really has been one of the best summers for movies in quite a while. A lot of people are comparing it to 2019, which was kind of the last really big summer for movies, if you ask a lot of us. And I see a lot of comparisons for sure, definitely so. But it really seems this summer has been one for the books. And I think we started off with like Devil Wears Prada 2 to Mortal Kombat into Obsession. Now here we are. I mean, it's been a really good summer. So I'm really happy that like people kind of like showed up to the movies this summer. They saw multiple viewings of Spider-Man, The Odyssey, Obsession, of course. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. A lot of surprises, you know, Backrooms, One Night Only. I mean, so many to name off this summer. I still have not seen End of Oak Street. I need to see that this week. I'll probably see that on Sunday when I have some downtime. Finally, it's been a crazy past 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. A whirlwind of emotions, you would say. So we had no full episode of the podcast this week. The guys and I should be back next week with a full episode of the podcast as we say goodbye to the summer movie season, and then we welcome and bring in our fall movie preview season episode that we do every year, that I love doing too, because it's like, you know what, the summer might be end, but we still have a great fall lineup for movies. So I'm looking forward to talking all things movies with the guys next week when we return for a full episode of the podcast. But like I said, I also have, again, but first and foremost, of course, this review episode is my review of Jason Statham, the bald British badass legend that he is, for his movie Mutiny, which is hitting theaters this weekend. Like I said, I definitely need to see End of Oak Street. A few screener links to review for you all this week as well. So still a couple episodes to kind of round up the summer. Again, a little on theme there, round up. But then we're going to be really kind of full throttle with fall movie season. So thank you all for tuning in this summer. I know it was kind of very unorthodox summer for us. Like I said, we took a little time off. That was mostly because of me, because of with work and moving to a bigger space. Definitely, I take full responsibility for that, but hopefully we'll be more consistent as we normally are with episodes and content. So have your notifications ready. Stay tuned every week. Of course, you can find this podcast on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music. Again, we also have our full video element of our show, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions, or now the Genre of Your Life. It's one of the two, and you'll find us. Again, you're on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, or YouTube. Don't be a stranger. Don't be lurking. Subscribe, rate, review, and if you have some feedback. Your feedback means a lot to us. Neutral, positive, or negative, doesn't matter. We read it all. We want to hear from you guys. So again, don't be a stranger. Leave us a comment, leave us a review. Again, Apple Podcasts, 200 Apple Podcast ratings is still our goal. But yeah, share the word about us. Anyone, family, friends, movie fans that we met in a parking lot conversation you had about Obsession or Backrooms or The Odyssey, again, or Spider-Man even. Let us know how you found the show, or through a mutual friend or whatever. But yeah, share the good word about us, y'all. We greatly appreciate it. So thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, this is going to be one of my last few review roundup episodes of the summer. Let's get into, shall we? Let's say the movie, which is, of course, Jason Statham, the legend that he is. And his new movie is Mutiny. You know, got to have a good Statham summer, you know, to a degree. I feel like a lot of his movies come out like in various times in the year. I know Beekeeper was like a early spring and early winter. I think The Working Man was like late spring or early summer. There's a movie come out called Shelter that came out back in February. That was, you know, fun for the most part. But again, Mutiny, after his billionaire industrialist boss is murdered in front of him, Cole Reed, good old Cole Reed, good action name, is set up to take the fall for the crime, leaving him on the run as he works to uncover an international conspiracy, which is pretty up there with, you know, Statham movies. If you've been following the podcast now for a little bit, you might know that I definitely am a big sucker for a good Statham, you know, shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, you know, popcorn flick. Actually had a great time with The Working Man. People kind of dog that movie. Listen, I know it has its flaws, but man, that's one of my favorite press screening experiences ever, just because I remember people were clapping and cheering, and I'm like, are we in an Avengers movie? Are we like a bit like IP Spider-Man movie? Like, what's going on here? People were having a blast, and I had a blast too. Yeah, the movie has its flaws for the most part, but I had a big smile on my face, and I was like, man, when David Ayer teams up with Statham, these kind of like bombastic, over-the-top action movies, I'm there day one, no doubt about it. So I had a big old fun with Working Man. The Beekeeper I liked quite a bit too, but not as much as the Working Man. But Beekeeper I thought was kind of fun, old school, kind of throwback action thriller movies that I grew up on a little bit, very Equalizer-esque. And I was like, cool. Also, it was good seeing David Ayer back on the big screen. I think he got a little bit of a bad rap for Suicide Squad. I plan on doing a full episode about that, his whole filmography down the road this year. But anyway, Statham, Shelter was kind of fun too, even though some of them kind of blend together. But even back then, Transporter, I mean, you name it. I also thought he was a good addition to the Fast and Furious franchise. The podcast, us three, Moses, myself, and Nick, we love the Fast and Furious franchise. And I thought he was probably actually a pretty good villain when he got introduced in Fast and Furious 6. And I do like when he kind of does like these random movies. I would love for him to do another Snatch. I love Snatch. I think he's really good in that movie. You know why? Because it's it's a strange variety of actors, including Brad Pitt and Statham and so many actors. So I would love kind of see him do another Snatch or kind of Guy Ritchie-esque kind of movie. Kind of how like Colin Farrell was his character as coach in The Gentleman. But yeah, and also I think he really, really shined in Spy, a movie that my mom and I quote all the time. We can watch no matter what, and we'll always like laugh. It was one of the kind of surprise hits of that summer back in 2015. I love Spy. It's one of the best comedies of the past 10 or 15 years by far. So I like when he's doing kind of out of like his comfort zone. Kind of movies. But still like a lot of his movies. I mean, he went on that really kind of run. I remember like in 2010s of like almost every year it was like, okay, Statham helping out, saving this person, Transporter. Okay, now he's gonna be this guy named Parker. I remember that. Like, he wasn't always kind of like these random action movies, but people tend to love those kind of like beat him up. Like he's like kind of like a one man machine, killing machine that just is a ruthless badass. And so this one, I'm like, of course, sign me up for a good old Statham action flick. Statham Summer, I'm there. I gotta say though, watching this movie, I didn't have as fun as I usually do with a lot of his movies. This one I kind of felt bored with, actually, surprisingly. And as someone who loves loves the action genre, this one I kind of just felt it was bland. He was definitely lackluster. And maybe I was on a big high after seeing Working Man and even The Beekeeper and Shelter to a degree. But this one I really felt like, man, this is like really just like uncooked. And I was like, man, I think Statham's even better than this. Expendables 4 is pretty, we're not pretty good either, or even The Mechanic 2. Mechanic 2, I think that's about 10 years ago. I remember, it's been 10 years. I remember my freshman year of college and at ASU, I was the kind of guy that got us into like all the early screenings as fans before we're doing this, of course, before reviewing movies professionally. And I think I got like most of my people in my dorm to go see an early screening of The Mechanic Resurrection. And we were like, oh, this movie's not that great. But it's a lot of fun to the experience. I was new to college, meeting all these new people, new friends, whatever. But this one though, again, the pitch basically is Statham on a ship. That's it. That's really it. But a few minutes in, I was like, okay, and it's your typical like, gotta get revenge on it's Statham's revenge, and I was like, oh, okay, we're still doing this, but this one just didn't feel as interesting or as exciting as the other ones, I'll be honest. This one I felt like it was just like just random ideas thrown together. It kind of even felt like ChatGPT wrote this at times. I'm like, who wrote this script? And dialogue, is not that great. The dialogue is very like entry level, surface level to say at least, like screenwriting class 101, where I've read better scripts from like fellow, film students, or you have it. You name it. I probably read a better script. So I'm like, oh, okay. If it's trying to do what it set out for is like, again, kind of like a, typical kind of standard package action thriller, that's what you're getting. But as someone who does like Statham a lot and do definitely enjoy a lot of his recent movies, again, including his old ones, I still had no feelings of this movie whatsoever. Again, I was bored. I checked my watch one time. My eyes getting a little like heavy in parts where I was like, I'm getting a little sleepy in this. And I was looking forward to it. I wanted to see Statham, beat up bad guys for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think the movie also, that's in my theater reaction as well. This movie's kind of like, it's the most violent episode of Popeye the Sailor you'll ever see. Like, watching this movie, I was like, wait a second, this is Popeye the Sailor. If it was rated R and it was extremely violent, extremely bloody, this would be it. If you don't know what Popeye Sailor is, I'm probably dating myself or my demographic, I would say, of people who grew up in cartoons. But yeah, I a lot of Statham's work, I get like kind of like hyped up. I'm like, oh yeah. And I will say this, the positive about this movie is that I do think like the action choreography is superb, and the fight scenes, the hand-to-hand combat is really good. Because you know what, like him, he does a lot of his stunts. I think he's like a trained martial artist himself. So whatever his movie, no matter what, you get some really great hand-to-hand combat fight scenes with some cool gunfights here and there. But Statham for sure knows how to film, like, be part of some really cool like fist fight, hand-to-hand fights where I'm like, oh, like it's awesome. But even to a point where I was like, I've seen better fights in other movies, whether it's Shelter, whether it's Working Man, Transporter, you name it, Mechanic even, where I'm like, this kind of just felt like he was just doing it for the check. And get your bag, man. More props to you, man. I respect it, but it didn't seem like he was really into this one the way he's with other movies. I feel like he was more excited to be in Shelter. He was more excited to be in The Working Man. And I think maybe because it's the people he's working with. And, as you may know, our biggest video ever is our Expendables 4 at the theater reaction 3 years ago when Nick and I saw that movie at the press screening. And him and I were really laughing because the movie was atrociously bad. And even then, Statham was trying to save that movie. No one can save that movie. That movie was doomed from the beginning, to say the least. But I think even that one, he was trying his best. This one, I kind of felt like, all right, I'm gonna do my Statham thing. I'm gonna talk like a badass with my accent. I'm gonna do this. This one, I was like, okay, like sure. I had goosebumps. I had any spidey sense with it. I was like, okay, sure. And maybe I'm at a point now where I'm like, dude, go back to do a spy. Go back to doing this. Go back to doing Snatch. Even when you're Fast and Furious, you work with an ensemble. And the actress in this, his co-star, who I'm a big fan of from other movies, and her name is it Annabelle Wallis? I always butcher her first name. She was in Tag. She was the mummy with Tom Cruise. What is her name? Yeah, Annabelle Wallis. Again, big fan of her. I thought she was really good in Tag. Malignant, that movie had its moments, but I did thought she was really good. I thought she had acted her ass off of that movie. But big fan of her. And her and Statham have no chemistry. Like, they have no chemistry. I'm like, what? Like, who casted this? Like, this could have been casted better. And even she's checked out too. Like, there's times where she's just like, oh yeah, I have a kid. I'm a mother. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna help you out. It's like, do you even care about the dialogue you're reading or saying? Do you even care about being in this movie? It's just, everyone kind of just felt like checked out. They were just like, listen, we're getting our check, man. Deuces. Peace out. Like, okay, it just felt like, again, you're on a single location for most of the movie. You're on a ship with mostly probably green screen and just kind of really cheap. It looked cheap. Like, really cheap, where I was like, this looks like kind of to be produced it. And you're like, oh man. And again, I've seen some really cheaply made action movies in my time. Don't get me wrong. But this looks cheap. This looked like, man, they spent like no money in this. Like, you know what? We're gonna shoot someone's house. We're gonna have a shoot in like a shipping container, a port, and then on a ship that is mostly probably green screen. It just looked cheap, man. It's like, man, Statham, I thought you used to bring kind of like more of like a quality, more like a budget with him. This kind of just felt like, hey, we got a few bucks. You know what? The year's ending. We put a movie out. Let's do it. It seemed like no one cared. Like, no one cared. And as an audience, I'm like, if you don't care, why do I care? And it's for everyone kind of just checked out. Like, the villain is so one dimensional. It's very predictable. Like, where the plot goes, you're like, oh, it's gonna be this, and it's gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. Like, I was like, I knew every beat for beat was gonna happen. Like, oh, hey, that happened. Oh, that happened. Okay. But again, I still was entertained by how bombastic the action scenes are, how violent they are, how gory they get. I was like, okay, you know what? They definitely don't shy away from the blood, the gore, and how like gruesome these fight scenes can get. I appreciated that. But everything else just did not work for me. It was kind of like bland. You're just like, okay, like you want to see an action movie? Here you go. Like this could have been Amazon Prime. This could have been a streaming movie. And again, as someone who is so pro theatrical, and this podcast is so pro theatrical, there's times like this where I'm like, this could have been Amazon Prime, like, Hulu. I would watch this over the weekend. Maybe some few beers or kind of just like some food, and kind of again, it's mindless entertainment, but there's just the entertainment part was I didn't feel entertained as much as other movies. So yeah, it just I really do think if I'm Statham now, you're in your back half of your career now. Take a risk, my guy. Take a risk. I know you can act your ass off. Again, when you do stuff like do Snatch, you can do comedy like Spy. Go back to that, man. Work with the Guy Ritchie, man. Work with Matthew Vaughn. Work with Paul Feig. Work with these kind of guys that maybe want to challenge you. I think he has been challenged in a while as an actor or as a performer. Even like his small stunt in Collateral with Michael Mann. Like, work with Michael Mann again. Like, seriously, man. There's so many actors. Again, I would love to see him work with like a Chaz Stahelski. Or David Leitch again. Have you work with these awesome action directors. I thought him and David Ayer worked great together. The two of them with Beekeeper and Working Man. But this one, man, is just when you're kind of run of the mill, like just like basic packaged action movies that's like stylized, but really that lacks so much substance to a point. I was like, I don't care, and I'm like, damn, like I don't want this to be the last movie I see of the summer, which it won't be. But as a moviegoer, I just feel kind of like, all right, assuming you're putting this movie out because, like, okay, we have to put me out because we have this waiting around. But yes, this could have been repurposed for a streaming movie. So if you're a diehard Statham fan, listen, like, oh man, and you watch, you're there. Listen, I get it. Go support your boy, getting guy. I get it. But if you're just an average movie fan, you can definitely skip this. And I would say just if you're curious at all, it'll be on Prime soon. It'll be on Hulu soon. Just save your time, watch it on there. So I give this movie, I say honestly, I'm probably a 3 out of 10 because I'm just like I felt nothing watching this. I kind of just felt like, man, just some of the dialogue again is really like one of those kind of like cliche, like, oh, I'm the villain, I gotta say these villainous lines, or I'm the hero, I'm gonna get you and you're gonna regret that. It's like, oh, come on, it's 2026. We can hire better writers. We can do some rewrites here and there. At least do some rewrites. Again, say them some better dialogue. And again, no one in the movie just cared. Like, it just felt like, again, it was just like I'm watching actors who I don't know, and I'm watching actors who I do know. It's like collectively no one, like, all right, let's do this scene. I guess so. Like, they're all on like on a green side. This movie's gonna be crap. We'll just do our best. So I don't know. As an action movie guy, I just like, man, this I could watch so many other movies that have been like way more entertained. And yeah, I just that energy just didn't feel like there. And I remember feeling that in Beekeeper, feeling that in The Working Man, Shelter, and I definitely remember that in a lot of the Fast and Furious movies that he's in. There's an excitement to him because he definitely pours a lot into his action scenes and choreography and the combat and the fights. But man, this one just felt like what a bit of a waste of time, if you ask me. But yeah, guys, keeping it short this week for this review roundup episode. Again, I'm a little behind on a few other movies. I got a few screen. I got the screen link for Idiots, as well as I think it's a Magic Fairway Tree with Andrew Garfield, and they're going to see End of Oak Street. I'm hearing good things about it. It did actually pretty decent in the box office weekend, which is great. I love how healthy the box office has been this whole year, this year so far, in the summer especially. So look out for that. I'm trying to think, what else do we have coming up? Nothing else in the pipeline right now in terms of screenings. It might be a little bit on the quiet side of screenings, but a lot of movies coming up for sure. No, Resident Evil in a few weeks. I'm so hyped for that movie. I love Zach Krager. But the guys and I will definitely be still seeing some movies. Might not be screenings, but still we'll be around. Of course, we'll see some movies. And I definitely know that some cool streaming movies that we're probably going to cover as well. I know Mayday's coming to Apple TV with my man Ryan Reynolds. Kenneth Branagh, looking forward to that. But we'll definitely find some things to kind of talk about and cover and discuss. It might not be reviews. It might become more kind of like a discussion on a filmmaker, an actor. I definitely know we want to kind of do more non-review episodes. And I'm also trying to work on, it's going to be hopefully end half of the year, do some more interviews, people that we know that want to be on the show. Definitely have them on the show, kind of talk about like what they can promote something or their movies that they're looking and watching right now they want to recommend. So hopefully have more people on the podcast as guests, as rotating guests at least, going forward. So still things in the pipeline, definitely things in the works. So stay tuned for that. If you want to see a good movie this weekend too, Tony A24's Tony is now hitting more screens this weekend. Go support the movie. The movie is fantastic. But yeah, guys, you have a lot of options right now when it comes to movies. I love this. I love hearing that The Odyssey now is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time, and that it's still sold out at IMAX screenings a month and a half later. That's crazy. I love that. I love how this IMAX is just having one of those best kind of like runs ever as a distribution, as a theater experience. So I love that. But yeah, guys, stay tuned for all good things. Midway Avenue Productions, the John River Live podcast. Make sure you have your notifications ready for all that as well. But until then, my friends, stay well, stay safe, and stay cool. But as always, we will see you guys at the movies.